to just start by thanking everyone for being here. Thanks, Ronnie and the team for putting this all together. It's really it's inspiring to be around like-minded individuals who want to make a strong impact on the future of travel. So I just wanted to start first by just giving my so I'd like to start first. Can you guys hear me? So I'd like to start first by just giving my interpretation of innovation because it relates a little bit to the main topic that I'll be talking about later. But innovation to me is a result of ideas that reach maturity and become useful. And rarely does innovation occur instantaneously. The reason is because the engine to innovate is often fueled by multiple ideas coming from multiple sources and often for multiple purposes. And they merge together to build something greater than the sum of their individual parts. And sharing ideas stimulates a network of connectivity that has powered mankind's most successful innovations. And so, an example of an exemplary piece of innovation to me is the rocket. If you look at the timeline of the rocket, in 428 BC, for the purpose of mathematics, Architas propelled a small wooden pigeon using escaping steam. And as the device spun around, the pivot attached by a wire, we first discovered systematic propulsion. And then around 1200 AD, for the purpose of celebration, the Chinese invented gunpowder by mixing saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal in bamboo tubes. And as they throw it into fires, they created explosions during religious festivals. And later, the Chinese took these two ideas, propulsion and gunpowder, and that's when the first rocket was invented. And so essentially what they did is they put the gunpowder into bamboo tubes, attach it to an arrow, and then use the escaped gas to be able to launch it. And since then, for various other purposes, rocket technology has advanced. We look at warfare with the invention of the B-2. We look at science or the Explorer 1 satellite. And then rivalry, the space race to the moon in the 60s. And so now, 2,500 years after combining these ideas, what was once a wooden toy spinning around a fixed object is now, it's evolved into a ship that has the purpose of extending human life beyond planet Earth, and we can thank God for this. And so getting into the core of what I'd like to talk about today, in 1972, the fourth king of Bhutan, His Majesty King Jigme Singye Wangchuck, had an idea that over the next century would revolutionize his country's entire infrastructure for sustainable development. And this idea was happiness. And while Bhutan plans to only launch its first satellite to space this year, this idea, if it's shared appropriately, has the potential to create as momentous of an impact for the future of humanity as the rocket did. And so a lot of you may ask, I get this all the time, where is Bhutan, the land of thunder dragon? So Bhutan is nestled between China and India, and it's remained sovereign since the beginning of its time. It was originally a monarchy, and it's now a constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary form of government. The government focuses on one policy, which is the leading policy for all regulations that are made in the country. And this policy is called Gross National Happiness, or GNH. So gross national happiness is comprised of four pillars. You have environmental conservation, you have preservation and promotion of culture, you have good governance, and then you have sustainable socioeconomic development. And so since implementing,